यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णः यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर्ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम. तानि सर्वाणि संयम्य युक्त आसीत मत्परः वशे हि यस्येन्द्रियाणि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. Lord Krishna told Arjuna that even a great knowledgeable man will be lured by the objects of his sensual organs and organs of action. Our mind is so powerful that it attracts and it distracts all the sensual organs and organs of action of all of us. So the mind and all the 10 organs are connected with one another. Controlled by the mind, all the organs will go to their respective objects, and when the organs are connected with their objects, the mind will remain stuck there. It is told there in previous shloka that even a great scholar will be distracted from his way, from his spiritual way, as it is seen in the case of Vishwamitra, Parashara and other sages. The minds of all of us are anadi but not nitya. We know it that our bodies are created in this birth and they will perish after some 70 to 80 years of life. But the mind has been with the soul ever since he came to this creation. So the mind is anadi, just like the soul. But our mind will be destroyed when the soul gains the total liberation. Atma is anadi and nitya, eternal and endless, but the mind is eternal but not endless. Certainly, it will see its end at the time of liberation. So, as it is said in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we, the souls, have seen so many births. Among all those births, we have experienced so many bad things and good things. The samskara of all those things which we have experienced remains hidden in our inner mind. It is said in psychology that our mind is just a bit of an iceberg. In North Poles, we know so many big icebergs are floating. Only a pit of those icebergs can be seen from the surface of the water, but the big portion, majority of the iceberg is hidden inside the water. The same way, what we can experience in this janma, in this birth, is probably stored in our external mind, which we can easily take out anytime we want. But all the other things which are previously experienced are stored in our internal mind. Even if a seeker attains realization and is bound to go to moksha, salvation, any time, will be vulnerable to the attacks of his mind and 10 indriyas. It is because of his samskaras stored in his internal mind. Whenever the occasion arises, those samskaras hidden in our mind will come up and force the seeker, force the soul to experience those things. So, the hidden passion and other samskaras will make us yield to the pressures. But that vulnerability is only temporary. Again, that knowledgeable man, that seeker, rises like a phoenix, because once his passion is satisfied, it will die down. So the 61st shloka, Tani Sarvani Sanyamya shloka says, one should restrain all those organs and remain immersed in the meditation of the Lord. And that man will be considered as Sthita Prajna, the realizer. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu upajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho bhijayate krodhat bhavati sammohaha sammohat smriti vibhramaha smriti bhramshat buddhinashaha buddhinashat pranashyate. Whenever a person thinks of the objects of pleasures, he develops a deep attachment to them, and that attachment leads to kama or strong passion. And if that passion is not satisfied, that will be converted into anger. And that anger gives a boost to sammoha, confusion. And the sammoha will cause smriti vibhrama, the loss of awareness of what to do and what not to do. And that loss of awareness will ruin the wisdom, and if the wisdom is ruined, the seeker, the soul, will fall down completely. But if he is a devotee fundamentally, he will rise again. And if he is not a devotee at all, he will fall down completely. Never will he rise up. In this sloka, it is said that a seeker should not think over the objects of pleasure and should be away from those objects of pleasure. He should maintain a safe distance from all those things which distract his mind. Here, a question may arise for all of us who are mostly householders, grihasthas. A grihastha, a householder, is born, educated, and gets married. To lead his married life, he definitely needs a particular amount of passion, kama, and desire, and sexual passion and love particularly. If the Gita-charya expects all the seekers to be away from the objects of pleasure, how can a householder live his married life? And the answer is simple. All the householders, grihasthas, are expected to lead their married life within the limitation of religiousness. In Mahabharata Vanaparva, Dharmaraja answers a most important question. Dharmartha kama mokshanam paraspara viruddhanam katham ekatra sangamaha. There are four Purusharthas: Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Moksha is the final Purushartha, final goal, which is considered last liberation or salvation. And to reach that salvation, one has to practice dharma, gain artha, and develop kama. The three purusharthas, the trivarga, dharma, artha, and kama, are apparently opposed to one another. How can the dharma be practiced while maintaining the kama and artha? And how can a passionate life can be led within the limitation of dharma, religiousness? To this question, Dharmaraja says, Yada dharmascha bharyacha paraspara vashanugau dharmartha kama mokshanam parasparam sangamaha. Yada dharmascha bharyacha. Bharya means a wife. Bharya means wife to a male, and bharya means husband to a female. So, whenever your married spouse, maybe it is your wife or husband, gives his or her complete cooperation to your religious life, you will definitely win the Trivargas, Dharma, Artha and Kama. So, our married life and our religious life as well should go hand in hand, so that seeker can practice dharma and artha and can gain that seeker can practice dharma and kama and certainly can gain artha, and at last he will be successful in gaining salvation. It is also said in the Shanti Parva of Mahabharata that Kama is the most important Purushartha. The 5 Pandavas and Krishna were sitting and chatting together. There a discussion came up. Which is the most important Purushartha? Naturally, Dharmaraja said, Dharma is the most important Purushartha. Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva and others said, Artha is the most important Purushartha because the Artha, our financial capacity, will enable us in getting all the desired things we want. And from that Artha, we can practice Dharma also. So they said, Artha is the most important Purushartha. At last, Bhima's opinion was sought and he said, Kama is the most important Purushartha. For so many readers of Mahabharata, Bhima is considered as an arrogant man who knows only to fight, wage war without considering its results. But there was a great knowledgeable man inside that angry young man, Bhima. He said, Kama is the most important Purushartha. The Kama does not necessarily suggest a sexual passion. Kama means desire. If you don't desire to get salvation, how can you get success in attaining salvation? If you don't desire to practice dharma, how can you do all the dharmika kriyas, rituals? If you don't desire to earn money, artha, how can you be successful in earning wealth? So, to practice dharma, to earn money, to lead a married life of passion and love, one needs basically and fundamentally a pure desire, kama. So because of that kama itself, one attains salvation. It is said in Bhagavad Gita by Lord himself, Dharma viruddho bhutanam kamosme bharatarshabha. I am there in the minds of all the souls in the form of kama, which is not opposed to the dharma. So, dharmika kama, religious passion, is not opposed in our Shastras. The householders and common men, laymen, are not expected, are not supposed to give up that dharmika kama religious passion, religious desire, moral desire. So, all the Upanishads, Vedas, Puranas, and Bhagavad Gita, which is the gist of all those scriptures, teaches it perfectly that the seekers are supposed to practice dharma, gain wealth, develop kama and prema, and at last attain salvation. रागद्वेषयुक्तैस्तु विषयान् इन्द्रियैश्चरन् आत्मवश्यैर्विधेयात्मा प्रसादम् अधिगच्छते. A seeker who consumes, who experiences the objects of pleasure without crossing the limitation of prescriptions and prohibitions of the Dharma Shastras, scriptures, will attain prasada, the serenity, peace of mind. But it is required that our mind and the 10 indriyas should be free from the passion, immoral, irreligious passion and hatred. प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिरस्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्याशु बुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते. If he gains serenity, peace of mind, there will be a complete end to all the sorrows and pains of the seeker. And because of that manah prasada, the serenity of mind, he will attain the enlightenment, the realization of self and the God. नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न चाभावयत शांतिः अशांतस्य कुतः सुखम्. Yoga means the control over mind and other organs. So, the one who cannot achieve that yoga control cannot get realization or enlightenment. And if he cannot control his mind, he cannot start and continue his meditation as well. And if the meditation is not accomplished, he will not get, there will not be peace of mind. Here the word shanti means peace of mind or the salvation. And if the salvation is not gained, how can one get sukha? So, in order to get endless sukha, endless inner bliss, swarupa sukha, one has to practice, one has to gain shanti, the moksha. For that moksha, dhyana, bhavana is required. For bhavana, yoga, the control over mind is required. Not only for the endless swarupa sukha, to get a permanent, to get a temporary sukha in this world also, one needs liberation, temporary liberation, at least temporary liberation from his sorrows. So, the yoga, control over mind, and the dhyana, that is bhavana, are both required for acquiring Shanti. Maybe it is temporary or permanent. And with that Shanti, the seeker will see the Sukha. Maybe it is temporary or permanent. It can be summarized here that with permanent Shanti, he gets permanent Sukha. With temporary Shanti in this world, he will see at least temporary Sukha in this world. So, yoga, the control over mind and all the senses, is the most required means of a seeker. Let's see what Krishna says next in our next episode.